Right, let's do a quick mic check and then we are off. This has exactly been the kind of power play that Afghanistan would want because they have not really let South Africa get away to a flying start. It's been a quiet start by South Africa, and we must remember that this is a must win contest for Afghanistan. They have to win it to stay in the competition. This group is called a group of death because it contains all three: Afghanistan, South Africa, and New Zealand. And since New Zealand has already beaten Afghanistan, well, here is Afghanistan's chance to shine. And I don't think we can call an Afghanistan victory as an upset because if you remember, they reached the semifinals last time as Rashid Khan bowls a wide. He has to bowl that one again. The run rate so far is a quiet 7.61. South Africans would be looking to accelerate now because this is again a flat Ahmedabad wicket where totals of 200 get chased very frequently in the IPL. So they would be aware of that Afghanistan is not a weak team. 160, 170 will not do. They will have to aim higher. As the start of the new over, there is a Mohammad Nabi, the senior most player in the Afghanistan team. It seems he has been playing forever. I have been watching him in international cricket for at least 20 years, even before Afghanistan made an appearance in World Cups. He was their mainstay. He was one of the OGs who built the team, and he is still playing. In fact, even his son is playing cricket now, and who knows, maybe one day we will see both father and son play for Afghanistan, as that was an attempted sweep shot by Reckleton, which goes over the wicketkeeper's head and is cut off by the fielder. 2 runs are taken, and the score climbs to 56 for 2. A quiet start by South Africa so far. They have been watchful, but it looks like not anymore as Reckleton sweeps it for a six. What a shot that was. No respect given to the bowler. Just sit and deliver. It looks like they have started targeting particular bowlers now, and they will go after spin. It remains to be seen if they go after the spin of Rashid Khan. The next ball is a dot ball as it is guided to the fielder within the closed circle. Reckleton looked in a decent touch in the last match. Quinton de Kock looked a bit scratchy, but he has found his groove in this match. as they take another single. Quinton de Kock is on strike, facing Mohammad Nabi, and he gently guides the ball to the fielder. That's only a single. At the end of 8 overs, Afghanistan's score stands at 64 for 1. For viewers joining just now, please consider leaving a like and to subscribe. It will help me grow and will help me reach you quicker. This is one of the very few English commentary streams that you will find online. And the next ball, Quinton de Kock advances down the pitch, and that is a horrible misfield. That was about to be cut off by the fielder, and it would have been a single. But at the end, it turns out to be a four, and Rashid Khan looks on in anger. He is not pleased with the effort. Oh goodness, they cannot afford these fielding lapses. That was a very poor fielding effort, I must say. He completely lost track of the ball. The next ball is helped on its way for a single towards the leg side, as the wicketkeeper has to go all the way to retrieve it. Rahmanullah Gurbaz. Oh boy, Rashid Khan was not pleased at that misfield at all. And that is quite right. A attempted reverse sweep by Reckleton, and it makes its way to the boundary with ease. How many players have attempted a reverse sweep against Rashid Khan and have been successful? Well, this is one instance, and it was pretty successful, I must say. A fine shot by Reckleton, who is looking an imperious touch. The next ball is pulled and it is cut off before it reaches the boundary. Much better feeling this time. This partnership is now 62 from 37 balls, and the run rate looks to be climbing up after a sleepy power play. It was only around 7 runs an over after the power play, but it has climbed up to 8.5 now after a couple of good overs. That is yet another single, close off the over. After the end of 9, it is 75 for 1. The South Africans would be looking at a score of around 180 from here on, and Afghanistan will have to try their best to restrict them to 160 or below. And though that's looking like a tall ask now because they have a great amount of depth in the batting, they bowl, they bat all the way down to number 8, right till Marco Jansen. The best bowler on display so far has been Fazal Farooqi with only 5 from his 2 overs, and he also picked up the only wicket that fell. Noor Ahmad makes a first appearance in this World Cup. Could he prove to be the trump card? He has done it for Afghanistan in the past, and he is tricky to read. Oh, there is no doubt in the mind of Quentin de Kock. Mystery or no mystery, he simply hits it over Noor Ahmed's head, and the ball lands into the stands for a magnificent six. Oh, what a shot that was! as Quentin de Kock moves in to 47. What a shot that was. Looks like they are gradually accelerating now, and they are not afraid of playing the big shots, and they shouldn't be because they have 9 wickets in hand and all the batting depth in the world. Absolutely no respect to Noor Ahmed as his first ball was stonked for six. And Aiden Markram attempts the same, and he is successful as well. Wow, that's a six over mid on, a powerful hit. What amount of power do these South Africans possess? That is already 13 runs in this over so far, and 3 balls are left to go. They are very much on the rampage as the run rate climbs to 9.26. Not a good start to Noor Ahmed's World Cup journey, but that is to be expected. He is a wrist spinner, and it's always a high risk, high reward proposition. As the next ball is drilled through the covers for another boundary. What a cover drive. This over has yielded 17 runs so far. 1-7, 17 of 4 balls only. This is going to be the most expensive over in the inning so far, with 2 balls yet to go. A rude awakening for Noor Ahmed as he goes into ball to Reckleton again, who again drills it to the cover for another 4. This over doesn't seem to end for Noor Ahmed. This is carnage out there. What is happening? But to be fair, he is not really pitching it in the right areas. That was wideish, and Rickleton had no problem sending it like a rocket through the covers. Rashid goes in to have a word with his bowler. 21 of this over so far. What will Rickleton do now? Oh, he takes the sensible option and flicks it to the leg side and still manages to pick a couple as the over goes for 23 runs. And this over has completely changed the direction of the game as South Africa races to 98 for the loss of 1 wicket. Just a reminder, they were 75 after the end of ninth over, but that over by Noor Ahmed cost 23. And now South Africa are firmly on their way to get a target of 200. That's a target they must have set in their mind. Because remember, this is the group of death. This group has New Zealand, South Africa, and Afghanistan, and only 2 can advance to the next stage. There has been a dip in Afghanistan's T20 form, recent T20 form, after their fabulous run to the semifinals in the 2024 edition. They have not really won that many matches. The win percentage has only been 38% under Rashid Khan, which is a bit surprising since T20 is Afghanistan's strongest format by far. Mujibur Rahman comes in for his third over, and the first priority right now is to break this partnership some way or the other. The next ball is taken for a single. They have to break this partnership because it is 88 of 47 balls. And if they allow them to stick around for another two or three overs, then that this game will no longer be in the control of Afghanistan, and they will be under enormous pressure when they come into bat. They need a wicket now, and they need it desperately, with both batsmen looking to take their chances. Quinton de Kock batting on 49, and he pulls one to the leg side for an easy boundary as he completes his 50 of only 34 balls. What a fine innings. Since he has taken back his retirement and returned to international cricket, Quinton de Kock has been a different beast altogether. Oh, what a fine shot that was. The next ball is a single as Mujib runs towards the covers to field it of his own bowling. Compared to the last over, this has been a quietish over so far, only seven of it from five deliveries. The last over was taken for 23, a game changing over, to be honest. Reckleton takes a wild heave at it and comfortably deposits it into the stands, and he reaches his 50 in only 23 balls. Well, well, well. Both of these batsmen are rampaging. They seem to be cruising on the highway with no speed breaker in sight, and Afghanistan has to find a way to halt them in their tracks. Else, this game will drift into a territory where they won't be able to reach. They do have the batting firepower, Afghanistan, but it is not very often that they have chased down 200, and this innings is surely headed in the direction of 200 because the current run rate is 10 with 9 overs to go. Asmatullah Omar Zai comes in for his second over. Will he change the direction of the tide? The partnership is 99 of 51. They are striking at almost 200. Quinton de Kock had some quick running, and they managed to take 2 runs. An easy 2 runs in the end. It had to take a dive. Both these batsmen have crossed 50, and it is Ryan Reckleton who is the more aggressive partner. And normally, you see whenever Quinton de Kock is batting, he is normally the more dominating batsman. That's not the case today, as de Kock tries to push one through the covers, but it will only be a single. Except for Rashid Khan, the other Afghanistan spinners have looked off the boil today. They're not exactly bowling in the right areas, and you can't afford to be that loose against a team like South Africa, a very strong T20 team. Remember, they were the finalists of the 2024 World Cup, and they've had one hand on the trophy before India kept their nerves and managed to wrestle that trophy away from them. Another one on the offside, as that is 2 runs again. Ryan Rickleton and Quinton de Kock have similar playing styles, but Rickleton has a higher backlift. Oh, Rickleton flicks it powerfully through the onside, and that is a six. That is a flick for a six. Ryan Rickleton is batting like a dream today. Are we about to see the first century of this World Cup? Will we, won't we? Well, the way things are going, Ryan Reckleton is looking unstoppable. Slashes hard at it, but manages to be cut off by the fielder for a single. The partnership is now 111 from 56 balls. That is a strike rate of 200. The body language of the Afghan players doesn't look too good. They look deflated. And he again bowls in the same area to restrict Quinton de Kock to a single. At the end of 12 overs, the score stands at 124 for 1. Remember, this is a must win game for Afghanistan because they have already lost their opening game against New Zealand. So, even if they win their next two encounters, it will be very difficult for them to make a comeback. They have to treat this one as a must win game. Batsmen to follow: Dewald Brevis, David Miller, Tristan Stubbs, Marco Jansen, and George Linder. All of them very capable hitters. Rashid Khan makes a comeback to bowl his third over. Will he change the fortunes of his team? He has to. There is no other way. He has to break this partnership if Afghanistan are to have any chance in this game at all. Oh, he releases him on the pads, and that is a half hearted appeal, but he is not interested to go for the review. Well, that is a dot ball after a long, long time. Khan feels this one of his own bowling as he runs all the way towards the covers to field it. In the end, it's only a single. Punjab have always been a flat wicket with you have seen huge scores in the IPL over here, multiple scores about 200. However, it remains to be seen how Afghanistan will perform because they will have to come out all hammer and tongs right from the get-go. They will have no time to relax as this looks like this will be a score in excess of 200. Quinton de Kock takes strike again and he has a wild pull and finally that is a wicket. Caught in the deep and Rashid Khan is the partnership breaker, the talisman of the Afghanistan side, the most experienced T20 player, Rashid Khan. He gets the breakthrough and he breaks this ominous partnership. That was a good catch in the deep. Finally, some smiles for Afghanistan. A great catch by Ibrahim Zadran, I must say, as the score is 126 for 2 at the end of 12.4 overs. They really needed that wicket as that partnership finally ended at 114, 114 runs. But that is only a temporary relief as the next batsman to head out to the crease is Dewald Brevis. And we all know what he can do once he is set. We have seen him perform his magic in the IPL and in other leagues around the world. When he entered the scene, he was called Baby AB. I mean, What a nickname that is. And so far, he has lived up to it because he plays shots all over the ground. A fantastic young talent, Devol Brevis. They will have to get him early because if he sticks around for another 15 balls, well, that won't be good news for Afghanistan. They have to find a way to get Brevis out. And don't forget, Reckleton is batting at 61 of 27, well in excess of a strike rate of 200. Oh, slight misfield as Brevis gets off the mark with a single. Revisiting that wicket again, Quinton de Kock attempted a pull but could not get the timing or the power. And Ibrahim Zadran, he does not let many go. Always a reliable fielder. That was a welcome wicket for Afghanistan for sure, as Rashid Khan rushes in to bowl his last over, and that wraps the pad, and that is a confident appeal, and that is given out. A game-changing over by Rashid Khan because this game was heading away from Afghanistan, but they make a strong comeback with two wickets in the same over. Ryan Rickleton takes the review, but all Afghani players look very confident about it. The umpire was confident as well, and he lost no time raising his finger. Let's see if the DRS supports Rashid Khan, who is looking very confident about it. As we see the Ultra Edge, there is no need for Ultra Edge, to be honest, because there is a gaping gap between the bat and the pad, as that looks to strike the middle stump. But we will have to wait for confirmation from the ball tracking. In my opinion, that is a plum LBW, and it had to be Rashid Khan to do this. It had to be their inspirational captain to lift their team up, to lift their morale. Pitching outside off, impact in line, and that struck the top of a middle stump. That always looked out, and Rickleton will have to go back after playing a fantastic knock of 61 of 28 deliveries as South Africa lose some of their momentum as they are now 127 for 3. There was a time when they were rampaging towards a score of 200 with Reckleton and Quinton de Kock scoring a boundary of every alternate ball, but this over has yielded only 3 runs and there are 2 wickets have been fallen. A truly game-changing over, and Rashid Khan is the kind of player who can pull this off. He is the kind of bowler who can lift up the morale of his team single-handedly with his own performance. In comes David Miller at a number 5 as he joins Devon Brevis. Noor Ahmed is back after a horrible first over that went for 23 runs. But now he has two new batsmen at the crease and he will find it slightly easier. Let's see if the South African batsmen target him because they would be aware that he is a bit low on confidence after that thrashing in the first over. Devon Brevis normally doesn't take a lot of time to get going. He's not the kind of player who will just poke his way to a run ball 15 and then start attacking. As he sends this one through the covers for 2 runs. Noor Ahmed is known for his left arm Chinaman bowling. Deceptive, he gives it flight, but he was completely off the radar in the first over. The next ball drifts on to the leg side, but Brewers can't get it away. That's a dot ball, a much better start to the over by Noor Ahmed as compared to the last. The next ball is guided for a single by Brevis as that brings Miller to strike. The last nine deliveries have yielded only 6 runs. So finally, some momentum back with Afghanistan, as South Africa will now have to re-evaluate their strategy. Can they afford to go all bang bang again, or will they wait for a couple of overs to make the big charge in the last 5 overs? I think it will be the latter, but with these two on crease, you never know. Both of them very attacking batsmen, especially Brevis. And Miller, of course, has been plying his trade in international cricket for about 10, 12 years now. He has been a hit across all T20 leagues in the world, including the IPL, and he knows these pitches very well. As Miller tries to drill one through the covers, but that is intercepted by the fielder. A much, much better over by Noor Ahmad so far. After that horrendous first over, in which he gave away 23. So far, he has only given 3 in his 5 deliveries. Let's see if he closes off in style. Bowls it at the pads of Miller, who is happy to take a single. A fine over by Noor Ahmad. Gives away only 4 runs at the end of 40 in Australia. I'm sorry, South Africa. 131 for 3. Australia is the next game. Australia versus Ireland at 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time. A must win a game for Afghanistan. This is, and they cannot afford to let South Africa cross 200. That will be a massive psychological boost for them. They have to find a way to restrict them to 170, 180 if they can, and that will only happen through regular wickets because South Africa have all the firepower in the world right till number 8. Even the bowlers can hit sixes, and Afghanistan will be well aware of it. If you're just joining in, please leave a like and hit subscribe, as that will help me increase my reach and will help you find these live streams much quicker. I'll be covering the entire World Cup, and this is one of the very few streams in English. 99% of the other streams are exclusively in Hindi. All right. So as the break continues, let's have a look at the bowling card. Fazal Farooqi has only conceded 5 overs, 2 overs with 1 wicket. He has been the pick of the bowlers. The most expensive has been Noor Ahmed, but that is because his first over went for 23 runs. He made a great comeback as Rashid Khan decides to bowl his fourth over. Will he pick up a wicket again? That would really put Afghanistan back in the game. They have managed to pull back the run rate from 11 to 9.36 now, and South Africa will be feeling the pressure because the last 2 overs have given them only 7 runs. Now, that one is a speed breaker. It has to be Afghanistan's Rashid Khan, the global T20 superstar, to inspire his team. Let's see if South Africans can accelerate. As he bowls his first ball, and Miller can only guide it towards the fielder for a single. That brings Brevis on strike, and it is only a matter of time before we see him attempting his big shots all across the ground. He is not someone who likes to stick around doing nothing, picking singles and twos. It's a dot ball as it is hit towards Darvish. The first two balls of this over have given away only one run. Brevis tries to hit it hard through the covers, but that is yet another dot ball. This is proving to be an excellent over by Rashid Khan. Only one run so far. And what a turnaround it has been. Oh, the World Brewers can only manage a single as that. Oh, in fact, it will be two runs. That is some fantastic running by both Brevis and Miller. For a while, it looked like it would be only a single. Be that as it may, this over has only been of 3 runs. 4 balls and 3 runs. Will Rashid Khan finish off his spell with a wicket? Oh, that is another dot ball as Brewis completely misses it. Only 3 of this over so far. This is a fine comeback by Afghanistan. Again, a fine delivery as Brevis guides it towards the leg side for a single. And this means that the last 3 overs have yielded only 11 runs for South Africa. There was a time when they were looking like they would easily get to 220, but now the equation has changed. Even if they go at 10 and over now, they will reach 185. A fantastic spell by Rashid Khan as he finishes off with figures of 2 for 28 as we head towards the final 5 overs. Noor Ahmad once again, after being hit for 23 in his first over, he only gave away 4 in his second. Let's see if he improves on that and takes up a wicket or flighted delivery. And there's nothing Brevis can do about it. He guides it back to Noor Ahmed, who walks back to his bowling mark. That is a dot ball. What a change in momentum. It looks like all of a sudden the Afghani spinners have applied a chokehold to the game. Tries to hit it hard and is successful as that is a fine boundary. As straight as an arrow and hit with a lot of power. Devol Brevis gets his first boundary. And it was not easy. He had to apply a lot of power to dig that one out. That was almost Yorker length. Brevis is now 11 from 11. Let's see if that helps his confidence and he's able to hit his big shots. That one goes to the boundary rider and it will only be a single as a strike is back to Miller, who is on 2 of 4. It's not a new situation for Miller. He is known as the finisher in world cricket. And this is exactly the kind of situation he thrives in. Another single by David Miller. And this has to be a great comeback for Noor Ahmed. It is not easy to come into bowl when you have been hit for 23 in your first over, but his second over gave away only 4. And so far, he has given away 6 of his 4 deliveries. What a comeback by Noor Ahmed. Oh, Brevis could not pick the ball and at the last moment decided to deflect it to the fielder for a single. The boundaries have kind of dried off. There has only been one boundary in the last 3 overs. As we see the chart for next wickets, and USA's Van Schalkwyk easily heads it with 8 wickets. At the end of 16 overs, South Africa is at 143 for 3. Australia is the next game against Ireland. If Afghanistan can somehow find a way to restrict South Africa to 175, we are in for a game because they absolutely have the batting firepower to chase down scores of 170, 180. And of course, they will be facing a very potent South African bowling attack with KG Rabada, Lungi Ngidi, Marco Jansen, Keshav Maharaj. Fazil Haq Farooqi, the best bowler on display today, returns to bowl at mid-depth for his third over as he steams in to bowl to David Miller. David Miller pulls it, but that will only be a single as it is easily cut off by the fielder. If you're here for the first time, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. That would really help me a lot. As only 23 deliveries remain, I think South Africa's approach would now be to go after almost everything, and they have the batsmen to do it. But it has been a strangely quiet start by Devol Brevis. He has not been able to get his big shot so far. 13 of 13 is not something you associate with Devol Brevis, as that is a dot ball, a short delivery. Brevis was looking around as if he was expecting a wide signal from the umpire, but the umpire was not interested. It remains a dot ball as the South African run rate slips down to 8.82. 8.82 is the run rate, and it was at 11 when Reckleton and Quinton de Kock were batting, and it was looking like they would easily score 220. Well, as things stand now, I think South Africa would be lucky to get 180 because there has been absolute shift in momentum since Reckleton has got out. Both of these batsmen are scoring at a strike rate of under 100, and that is absolutely not something we expect from David Miller and Devol Brewers. Miller is 5 from 7, and Brevis is 14 or 15. What is happening out here? Faruqi steams in to bowl his fourth, and Miller can once again only manage a single. What a spell by Fazal Faruqi. He has only given away 8 runs, and this is his third over. And he also picked up an early wicket of Aiden Markram. Devol Brevis has to make something happen because there are not many deliveries to go, and he will be aware that this is a very dangerous Afghanistan side. As that is a top edge, as it was an attempted hook shot, but it flies away over the boundary for a sixer. It was a mistimed hit. He attempted a hook shot, but it went behind the square after taking the top edge. and it barely crossed the boundary for a six, but that is 6 runs nonetheless. The first sixer for Devil Brevis as he reaches 20 and South Africa reach 152 for 3. They need some more big shots from the bat of Devil Brevis. Faruqi runs into bowl again. That's a fine single. And at the end of 17, South Africa are 153 for 3. Last 3 overs to go. At 10 and over, they will manage to cross 180, but if they want to reach 200, they will need to get 17 of each over, or at least 16. Will the Afghans give away runs so easily? I don't think so. I think 200 is looking a bit improbable now. We might see a score of around 180, 185 at best. The batsman becomes Tristan Stubbs, Marco Jansen, and George Linder, all of them capable hitters. Who will bowl the 18th over? I think it will be Azmatullah. As I am right, he marks his run up, and Devol Brevis is on strike again. It has been a scratchy innings from him so far, not his usual destructive self. Usually, when we see him bat for 10 to 15 balls, we see a strike rate sometimes in excess of 200, but he has been relatively quiet today. Asmat steams into bowl and Devol Brevis pulls it towards the fielder for only a single. No, that will be 2 runs. Some fantastic running by Miller. Both of these are exceptional runners between the wicket, very athletic. But Afghanistan will be happy to concede singles and doubles because that won't really dent them too much because they have pulled back in a fantastic manner in the last 4 overs or so. And Brevis flicks one into the air and that pops into the hands of the fielder as that is a wicket. It's the return of Azmatullah Omarzai and he picks up a wicket. Well, well, well. This South African innings seems to be going nowhere. What has happened? Well, all credit to the Afghan bowlers and fielders. That was an easy catch for Nabi as Brevis has to go for 23. There was a rampaging partnership by Quentin de Kock and Ryan Rickelton, and it was increasingly looking like South Africa would cross 200, maybe even 220. But the spin of Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmed pulled them back somewhat. Wickets fell at regular intervals. Now the score is 155 for 4 as Tristan Stubbs takes guard. He hurries off for a quick single, gets off the mark as the score moves to 156 for 4. Only 15 deliveries remain now, and I think David Miller has to go for it now. So far, he has not been able to get a big shot, only 6 of 8 runs. This is exactly the territory where David Miller is most comfortable when it comes for a solid push at the end of an innings. Let's see if he can manage it today. He takes strike And that is drilled through the covers, but the field manages to intercept it. That will be an easy single. Sorry, that will be a couple of runs for David Miller. But again, the Afghans won't be too concerned with singles and twos because it is the boundaries they are afraid of. They do not want to concede a score beyond 180. David Miller misses it. That's a misfield by the wicket keeper, and they get one run buys. Oh, they don't run. They don't run for it. And that will be six of the over so far, with Tristan Stubbs on strike now as we approach the end of the 18th over. Azmatullah Omarzai has figures of 1 for 30 so far. Let's see if he finishes this over. That is out. He finishes the over with a wicket, as that was an attempted lap shot by Tristan Stubbs, but that goes straight into the hands of the fielder, who looked to be specifically placed there for that purpose. Oh, a soft dismissal in the end. And what a catch that was. These are not easy, let me tell you. At the end of 18 overs, South Africa is 159 for 5 as Tristan Stubbs departs for just a single. Last 2 overs remain, and this has been a fantastic comeback by Afghanistan so far. At one time, the South Africans were 111 for 1 of 11 overs. That means the next 7 overs have gone for only 48. That is not even 7 runs an over. That is a very spirited effort by the Afghans. Marco Jansen comes in at number 7, very capable of hitting the big shots, but he will not be on strike as that will be David Miller, who has to make something happen for South Africa. So far, he's on 8 of 10, and that is not what you expect from someone of his caliber as he guides one to the leg side for a 4. Finally, David Miller gets a boundary. Is this the first sign of a late innings resurgence by South Africa? That was an attempted Yorker, but it ended up as a full toss, and Miller expertly flicked it away for a 4 towards the leg side. 163 for 5. They'll be looking to get at least 180. Faruqi, and what a Yorker that was, an in-swinging Yorker, and Miller could only manage to get his bat down just in time, and that is only a single. That lap shot by Tristan Stubbs went nowhere, could not even cross the circle, and he had to depart. Marco Jansen on strike for the first time. A very capable hitter over the recent couple of years. He has proved his utility in the batting department. Let's see if he is able to hit a few over the ropes. One of the tallest batsmen and bowlers in international cricket. Oh, that is another attempted Yorker as Jansen manages to drill it through the covers for 4. The fielder cannot stop it. And Marco Jansen starts off in style with a boundary as the score is 168 for 5 now. That should have been stopped. Not the greatest of fielding effort, and Faruqi is not happy with it. That was the captain Rashid Khan. Faruqi, a widish delivery that is guided towards third man as they take a double as the score reaches 170. Last eight deliveries to go. Will the South Africans manage to finish the innings with a bang? Remains to be seen. The fifth ball, Marco Jansen stands and delivers for an effortless six over the head of Faruqi. What a shot that was. Exactly what the doctor ordered for South Africa, as their innings looked to be faltering, but they seem to have found some momentum in this over, which has gone for 17 runs so far. It has spoiled the equation for Faruqi, who has now conceded 32 in this spell and 17 in this over. Marco Jansen, 12 of 3 balls. On the other hand, Miller is only on 13 of 12. Faruqi runs in for his last ball, and that is a perfect Yorker, and there is nothing Jansen can do about it. That's a dot ball at the end of 19. South Africa stand at 176 for 5. It looks like they will cross 180 now. South Africans would be looking to push it past 190, but they would need a big last over to do that. And it would be bowled by Azmatullah. Let's see if he can bowl a disciplined over to restrict the South Africans to around 180. We will have a chase on our hands, and it looks like it is going to be a cracker of a chase. Azmat runs into ball for the first ball, and Miller takes a wild slog but cannot connect the bat to ball as it goes safely to the wicketkeeper for a dot ball. Miller has looked out of sorts today, and he has not been able to middle it at all. This is not something you expect of David Miller, who is known as one of the most powerful finishers in world cricket. The experienced campaigner, as he hoiks that one into the stands, that is a fantastic six. That looked almost effortless. What timing, what power by David Miller. That was a cutter by Azmat, but David Miller has no problems playing it inside out as it gets deposited in the stands as the next ball is pulled towards the fielder for only a single. Seven of this over so far from three deliveries as South Africa reach 183 for 5. I would still say that is a below par score as they were cruising at 111 for 1 at the end of 11 overs. A perfect Nelson. It was Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmed who managed to pull it back for the Afghans. And this is still a chaseable score with the kind of firepower they have in their ranks. The next ball is a full toss, and it is drilled through the covers for a four by Marco Jansen. What a shot! And what a capable batsman Marco Jansen is turning out to be. The perfect all rounder that South Africa needed. He now moves on to 16 of 5 as the last two balls remain. He takes a wild heave at it, and it only goes to the wicketkeeper. A hit and a miss. Only one ball remains now. If you have not already done so, please hit the subscribe button and hit like, as that will help me increase my reach. And I will be back with a new stream in the second innings as the last ball is hiked into the air by Marco Jansen and it goes to the fielder for a wicket. Ahmad picks up the wicket. Marco Jansen is out, and the final score is 187 for 6. Thanks for being connected to this stream, and please hit subscribe as we will resume in the second innings. I'll end the stream now. Thank you all. Thank you so much.